Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terrence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited. Like I always tell y'all, make sure to turn on those notifications. You don't want to miss an
Do
episode.
do that. Excuse me.
Well, training
Okay,
camp
let's go, man.
training
Yeah.
camp begins on Monday the 26th and it runs until August the 21st. Fans will be allowed to attend 5 practices in Flowery Branch and another one on August the 7th at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I will point out, though, that the Falcons have the least amount of open practices for the fans compared to their NFC South counterparts. So, you excited about training camp, T?
You know I'm excited about training camp. I think I probably was one of the only players in NFL history couldn't wait for training camp. The reason I love training camp so much was because all the work I did prior to training camp, I wanted to show how much I got better each year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why the Falcons don't have a lot of open practices. I don't know what they're afraid of, but here's a chance for the fans to get to know this new team, this new coaching staff, whatsoever, and we giving them limited access. So I don't know if it's paranoia, whatever it is, I don't know. But here it is. A lot of training camps are, well, not a lot. A few training camps started this week. 3 prominent teams in the NFL: the Cowboys, the Steelers, and the defending champion, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, started camp this week. Uh, let's start with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to be on Hard Knock, and you know why they're on Hard Knock. It's because it's Jerry's world. And I bet you see more Jerry Jones than you see anybody else because Jerry loves the limelight. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Cowboys. I believe this about the Cowboys. The Cowboys want the nation to see and the league to see that, one, Dak Prescott is healthy. He's better than ever, and ready to go. And two, that they're going to be better defensively with Dan Quinn. And I think those two things are very important for this team to be successful. We know they're going to score points. We know they're going to get a whole lot of yards, but can they stop the opponents from scoring more points than them? You can't go into the game averaging, score 47 and the other team score 48. So it's like a track meet with the Cowboys each week. So I believe that this is a chance for the rest of the league to see that the Cowboys are back. And then we go to the Steelers. The biggest question for the Steelers is Big Ben. Is he going to be better than he was last year? How is the elbow whatsoever? It looks like he's lost weight and gained more muscle. Looks like he's serious about this year and he's on a mission. So I wouldn't count Big Ben out. And I think Mike Tomlin has done a phenomenal job with this organization and with this football team, despite all the injuries he's had last year. So a healthy Pittsburgh Steelers football team is a dangerous Pittsburgh football team. So then we go to the defending champions. Pretty much everyone is coming back. You got Godwin is sitting there and, franchise tag or not, this and that. Is he going to be unhappy, disgruntled, whatsoever? But here's the thing. One guy, a guy at that position, when you have a Tom Brady, somebody else will step up. So the quicker they get over that one distraction, and the better they're going to be. And as you've seen lately, Tom Brady is trying to find some motivation for this year, where he said he's motivated because of the lack of interest in free agency when he was a free agent. That stuff we pull out the air, when you get older, to find some motivation to play each year. So it's going to be interesting to see where they are. And at the end of the day, I think Bruce Arians has done a great job putting this organization together, putting this football team together with his coordinators whatsoever. And that's the key when you're a head football coach, is organizational skills and putting people around you for you to be successful.
Yeah, the Cowboys being on Hard Knocks is going to be an interesting watch. Like you said, it kind of slipped my mind about Dan Quinn being their defensive
Yeah,
coordinator.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
sure Falcons Nation wants to tune in to see
Hmm.
if he's out there preaching the same lingo or what maybe the Cowboys defense will look like. Because not only do you have Quinn, you got Keanu O'Neal and KZ
Right.
on that squad as well, that I'm sure Falcon fans would be inclined to tune in to see what happens with them.
Well, I think, speaking of Dan Quinn, he came from Seattle where it was uh, the practices would lose up tempo. You had fun whatsoever. It was light. It was say what you wanted to say, and everything was good. And I think when he came here to Atlanta, it was so button up, so business minded that it kind of put him in a box. And I think you're going to see a different Dan Quinn in Dallas.
Yeah, more than likely that will happen because, like I said, he doesn't have those head coaching responsibilities, so he can
Right.
go back to what his bread and butter is, and that's calling defense. And I
Yeah,
did see those pictures of Ben. He did look a little slimmer.
he looked a little
Uh,
slimmer.
yeah, he does. Did you happen to see that? Teams are NFL or sports teams in general are now back at the White House. So I did see the Bucks. They did go to the White House, and Tom
I
Brady
seen
had
that.
his jokes.
Yeah, I seen. I didn't watch any of it. I seen pictures of it. I seen little highlights of it.
Yeah, me
Uh,
too.
it's one of those things. As a former player, when you were so close going to the White House, and you don't want to see anybody else there. You're like, dog, we were so close. All we had to do was win that one game. Would
Yeah.
have been at the White House, and it didn't happen for us. But it is. I'm true. I believe it was probably an honor, and a privilege for these young men to go to the White House, meet the president, stand on those steps, and be acknowledged as a world champions that they are.
And what's like a big difference in today's training camp versus when you were playing?
When I was playing, it was more physical,
Yeah.
and it was totally different. See, in today's training camp, you can't go multiple two-a-day practices, or you can't go multiple two-a-day practices in full pads. There's a walkthrough practice, this, that, and that. Listen, when we started training camp, we was in full gear and we was in full throttle, neck buckling and tackling and everything and hitting. And we would go, our training camps, we'll go 2 a days,
Yeah.
3 days in a row, and then have a half a day. It was totally different than it is today. And then we trying to I wish I had the analytical numbers on the injuries from when we played and had training camp to the injuries of today's training camp,
Yeah.
because you see a lot of guys getting injured, not only in training camp, but in the season.
Season.
And you
Yeah.
didn't see that a lot when we played, because I guess probably because the physicalness that we had in training camp translated and paralleled to the season, where now we were prepared for all that hard rigor, banging and running and sprinting and all that things. And today, they want to take care of the player a little bit more. And I understand it because the players are bigger, faster, stronger than they were when I played. And I get that.
Mhm.
But in today's game, even the guys who played before me gonna say, "Oh, you guys had soft training camps. You guys, that's just the way it is. Things change." And
Yeah.
I'm not knocking the way they do things now. I just enjoyed the way we did things when I played.
Y'all are hard hitting, huh? Every day.
Every day. Every day there was some kind of banging. Every day, man. Oh my God, every day.
Do you think because COVID, we got this new Delta variant kicking up in the United States. Do you think it's going to play a part in the NFL season?
I think it will. I think it will. If we're what, about 50 something days, a month and a half away uh from opening day, pretty
Yes.
much.
Yep.
And the thing is, if the NFL doesn't have a plan in place, going into this preseason, you're going to see half full stadiums. You're going to see only the vaccinated in the stadiums whatsoever. So I think the NFL has a plan. They haven't rolled it out yet. And once we see that plan, I know it's going to be not only protect the fans, but the players and the staffs of each organization.
Yeah, they have. They did put out some stuff as far as like fully vaccinated and the non.
Yeah,
It seems like the players that are fully vaccinated won't have to go through quarantine and different things. Like I know you remember last year
right,
when the
right,
Broncos didn't
yeah,
have a quarterback,
right,
so teams
right,
that are vaccinated really won't
right.
have those issues. So
Yes,
I guess that's an
yes,
incentive for them to try
yes,
to do that.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I know a few weeks back we did speak about the Aaron Rodgers situation.
right.
It appears he turned down a 2-year contract extension that would have made him the highest paid quarterback. First off, is it about the money, and is he going to be a Packer?
First of all, it not only the highest paid quarterback, but the highest paid player in the NFL. There's something going on that we don't know. You know, a lot of people like, well, how can he turn down that type of money? Well, the dude has made a whole lot of money in his career. It's not about money. He's well off. He don't have to play another down if he doesn't want to. It's more than that. They've been so close over the last 2, 3 years getting to that Super Bowl. And he wanted to see some things in place that help him to propel him to that to be Super Bowl champions. They were a field goal away on fourth down instead of going for it on fourth down to maybe possibly win that football game. So that probably upset, and that was probably the icing on the cake for him. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, he's looking at Tom Brady, goes to an organization, and Tom Brady says, I want this guy, I want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Pretty much Tom Brady gets with Bruce Arians and the offensive coordinator and say, hey, let's do this, let's do this. And I don't know if Aaron has that same kind of privilege or that same kind of insight or pool that Tom Brady has. And I think he's seeing, you know, a guy like Tom Brady. I'm probably in the same class with him, just don't have a lot of championships rings. I should garner the same respect. And I think that's basically what it is. And, you know, a lot of people probably would say, hey man, just play football whatsoever. But if your heart isn't in it, if you don't feel good about it, you're gonna go out there. Not only you gonna play bad, you may hurt yourself, you know, and detrimentally. So you have to be very, very careful. And you got to be, you got to feel right. It has to feel right for you to be there. You can't just go because, oh, I'm gonna get a paycheck.
Yeah.
It has to feel right, and that you got to know deep in your heart this is what you want to do.
Well, in your gut, do you think he's going to play for the Packers this season?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, if you'd asked me this 5 years ago, I would say yes. Now, here's a guy that's played a long time in the NFL. He's 3-time NFL MVP whatsoever. He doesn't have to prove anything else. That's a Super Bowl champion. Don't have to do anything else. He just walk away and be fine. You know, he'd be fine. His legacy would not be tarnished one bit, you know, whatsoever. But you will see, you will see if the Packers falter, you know, without him. They're gonna say if Aaron Rodgers was here. Everybody say if Aaron Rodgers was there. So you know his legacy is set. So I don't see. I don't know. I can't answer that. You know, would I love to see him play? Yes, because he's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL today.
Yeah, I saw some comments of his where he spoke about the other quarterback, Jordan Love, and he said he liked the kid, and it really wasn't about Jordan. It was more so, I guess, that the team didn't consult with him first about making those decisions. So yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right. It's about those decisions that
Yes.
Brady might get to make,
Right.
whereas Aaron Rodgers is
Right.
just treated like a everyday quarterback when
Exactly.
he should be treated like the Hall of Famer that he is.
Exactly.
Uh, Aside from Arthur Smith, there are a lot of new head coaches getting their first crack at being an NFL head coach. Which new
Yeah.
head coach do you think has the best job considering their boss, their team, and the city?
Well, you know, I got a few names that I do want to talk about. I'm gonna talk about some unknowns.
Okay.
Let's talk about Urban Meyer first in
Yeah.
Jacksonville. Um, he's in a market where, yeah, they expected him to win because he's Urban Meyer. But if he doesn't, nobody's gonna really care. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like, I'll give him some time whatsoever. So he's in a market where the media is not great, where you got a great fan base. Don't get me wrong, you have a great fan base, but it's one of those markets where right now they're not expected to be one of the high echelon teams. So you know he has time to you know to jail and get that organization into to championship caliber. You know he got one of the best quarterbacks and you know that come out of college football. And so you know the thing is the quicker they can take pressure off of the quarterback, the better they're going to be. If they're going to rely on him to win every game, they will struggle. They will struggle tremendously. And then there's David Culley in Houston. Nobody even David. We don't even talk about the Texans anymore because Deshaun Watson is there, and they have some other. They almost just demolished their whole roster. So you're looking at a head coach that's unknown, that's in a situation where everyone's looking at him. What are you going to do without Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
So, and here's another organization where they've done some things, said some things that has been detrimental not only to their fan base but in the community. So here's it's a tough job for David Culley. It's a really really tough job. They put him in a very hard situation to be successful. I'm not saying he won't be and he can't be, but it will be tough. Now here's one that's challenging is Brandon Staley. Uh, he just took over the Chargers. Now got one of the best young quarterbacks in the league that was developed under Anthony Lynn.
Yeah.
And now, you take over a team that started to excel with a quarterback that played lights out under Anthony Lynn, and they thought Anthony Lynn was not the answer. So you pretty much take over the wheel and have to drive this car straight or even faster. And if you don't do it right, the question is going to be, well, why did they get rid of Anthony Lynn? I if I'm Anthony Lynn, I'm feeling hurt. I'm feeling disrespectful because this was my offense, this was my quarterback, and this is what we did, and the future was bright with him. And then you bring somebody else in to take over after I took the plane off the runway, and I want to land the plane too. And you said, no, I can't land the plane. So I would be frustrated if I was Anthony Lynn, but Anthony Lynn moved on. And now that's transitions to the next team I'm about to talk about. That's the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell is probably the most unique head football coach, other than Buddy Ryan back in the day, that we have ever seen. He's colorful. He's a character. He says what's on his mind. He doesn't care. And that's going to translate into wins. Well, let's put it this way. It's going to translate into you're going to see a better football team that's playing with a lot of energy, a lot of emotion, playing fast, playing with heart. And that's what this Detroit fan base needs. This is a hard hat city.
Yeah.
Detroit is a hard hat city. And Dan Campbell brings that mentality to this city. And I like that hire, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And then we talk about Arthur Smith. Here's the thing. I was thinking about that before we came on, and here's the thing. No one's talking about the Atlanta Falcons since Julio has went on. It's been quiet. No one talks about the Atlanta Falcons. No, it's almost like the league is uninterested in the Atlanta Falcons. They just make up one of the 32 teams in the league. And then with the organization not out there talking about what their chances are, what they expect coming into this season, it makes the Falcons seem uninterested. But this could be the quiet before the storm. And I hope that's what it is. I hope they're in-house, in the lab, stirring it up, getting it ready, and ready to explode into the season. And I'm looking forward to seeing them play.
Yeah, you're right though. It has been quiet since the Julio trade. So
yeah.
I don't know. Arthur Smith doesn't strike me as the motto guy like Dan Quinn.
Right.
So
Right.
I expect it to be quiet. And then, like you said, with the 5 practices, that's kind of like, changing the culture. It kind of seems like he wants it to be more quiet and reserved and less in the spotlight.
Well, he's kind of taking it back to the 90s.
Yes.
That's what it was in the 90s. And that's what we talked about earlier.
Yep.
Here's a guy that's young, but he has the personality of an old coach.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's from watching videos, reading books, or we're talking to guys whatsoever. But at the end of the day, this is who he is. and this is who he's gonna be until we are proven that this doesn't work. He's gonna be who he is, and that takes us to. I want to talk about the division a little bit.
Well, one
Here's
thing real quick I want to ask you. You didn't mention
okay.
your other team, the Jets head coach, Robert Saleh. What do you think?
You know what? The Jets gonna be interesting. I think I played there. This fan base expects to win.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna.
You draft a quarterback very high. You got a new head coach that's defensive minded. They're expecting to win.
Mhm.
And the thing is, and they expect them to win now. It's not like, oh, we're gonna give you a pass. This is New York,
Yep.
big city of dreams. You know, and the thing is, I think Saleh would do a great job. I think defensively they'll be better. I think organizational wise, they'll all be on the same page. I really thought this organization was just there. I think players were just there. And I think now with Saleh, I think the players will buy in and others around Saleh, his staff, uh, front office, they're going to all buy in. And I think you're going to see, I'm not saying they're going to win their division, but I think they're going to be very, very competitive this year.
Okay. One last question about these coaches before you move on. Which one of these new head coaches do you think is going to have the hardest job in 2021?
Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer is going to have the hardest job because here's the thing. Here's a guy who's health we have health issues, this and that, and here's a guy whose personality doesn't resonate to the average fan base. No, he's not seen as lovable and jovial and friendly. So if that's his mantra, that's the way his team is going to have to play. Yes, he had success in Florida. He had success in Ohio State. It's different. You was going out recruiting guys. You got to draft guys and find guys in free agency to fit. You can recruit and have 110 guys in your locker room, but here you only get 53 to play with. And 47 on game day, and that 47 got to be the best 47 out of the 53. So it's a hard job transitioning from college to the NFL. And excuse me, but I think give him time. But this year, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the quarterback and the head coach.
All right. And what were not? And I'm sorry I cut you off. What was we finna? What do you want to say?
I want to talk about the NFC South.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the NFC South. And here's the thing. Tampa Bay is the cream of the crop. Everyone is coming back pretty much. They've all bought in. Some guys took lesser pay to come back. And that means they want to win. It's not about the money. It's about winning football games. And then the question marks is with the other three teams. The Saints lost Drew Brees. Who's going to be their quarterback? Is it going to be Jameis Winston? Whatsoever. Who's going to be their quarterback? That's the key. And I think Jameis is going to be their quarterback, and how well as he goes, the team goes. But he has a lot of weapons around him where he doesn't have to do everything. So, and I think Sean Payton is one of the best offensive minds in our generation. And I think you have him playing at a high level. Mm-hmm. Then there's a crapshoot between Atlanta and Charlotte. Well, Carolina, between Carolina. I think Carolina has a talent pool that's played together under a new head coach. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Darnold is their guy. There's been speculation that Deshaun Watson may come in whatsoever, which we don't want to see twice a year.
Do not.
And I think if you added Deshaun Watson to a Carolina roster, they're going to be challenging for that spot winning the division. The question marks is with Atlanta, with the new coaching staff, the new regime in front office, that they do enough in free agency to help this team win now, because they kept talking about, we're not in a rebuild year, we're trying to win. So, with you saying that, you better win. The thing is, you get arguably one of the best receivers in the game today. He gets traded. Someone in that room has to step up. but that's not the problem. The offense is not the problem because they excelled when he was on the sideline.
That's
The
right.
problem lies in the defense and the back end of the defense with the secondary corners and safeties. So did they do enough drafting and in free agency to help those positions for them to be successful? So there's a lot of questions there, and they're going to be answered soon when we get a first chance to see them in person. Yeah, we you can talk about Kyle Pitts all you want, but at the end of the day, if he's not on the field, that means if we're 3-and-outs and we're not converting first downs and scoring points, that means the defense is going to be on the field a lot, giving up a whole lot of points. So uh, this team, for this team to win, is about defense. It's truly about defense. And if they can move up from that 31, 32 spot to 15 or 16,
Mhm.
we have a chance. We have a chance of getting into the playoffs and beating some people in the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to ask you about your predictions this early because we're not even done with training camp. But I do want to know, what do you think the number of wins, not per team, but the number of wins is going to win a division? Would it be like 11 wins should win the division, 12? What do you think is probably going to end up winning this division this year?
Well, I think it'll be 10.
Mhm.
Um, and here's the thing. Every team that plays against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a whole offseason to prepare to see what they do offensively, defensively, whatsoever. So, it's tougher to repeat because every team that plays them have a chance. They have film now to see.
Yeah.
I think it was something new to the league, to those teams that they played last year, and it was like, wow, we don't know what's coming. So now they have enough film to prepare, and that was going to make it tougher for Tampa. I I think that you know Falcons get to 8 wins, there's a chance for them to get to the playoffs. I think there's a chance, but I think you really have to win 9 or 10 to have an opportunity to get in the playoffs in this division. This is a strong division because all it takes is one injury from a key player in one of these teams in this division, and that next team will step up to be champions. So I think 10 wins will get you in the playoffs. Maybe 12 wins will win this division. You're 17 games now, so it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a grind for these players, especially these older players. But I think that 12 wins will win this division.
One real quick question just made me think of this. So, with it being a 17 game season and was it less preseason, do you expect the players to play like in that third preseason game? Because now it's the last one, and typically it used to be the third one, and that's when it was kind of like the dress rehearsal. Everybody would play. Do you expect in the preseason for the team to go full throttle in the third game, or is it going to be probably shut down?
Well, this is what I think will happen.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a preseason last year.
Yeah.
We had one of the greatest NFL seasons ever.
Yeah.
You're going to see more younger guys playing in the preseason because they're trying to find roster spots.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Coaches are trying to find guys that can fit into their system and help them out in the long run. You probably see some of the veterans play that first preseason game just to see where they are from the off season, make sure they're sharp whatsoever. You probably see them play 1 or 2 quarters, and then you probably won't see them much the rest of the preseason.
Okay.
Now, some of these teams that have new coaches, you might see more guys play because they have to learn the system
Yeah.
and be in and learn certain situations and how to address situational things that happens in the game. But I bet you won't see a veteran play in that third preseason game.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
figured because it might just be too much of a grind with
yeah,
17 games in the
yeah.
regular season. So, what you got for us to end the show today, T?
Hey man, let's end the show with this. Your faith has to be bigger than your fears. I say that is because we want so many things and we come across so many things, and there's been obstacles and hurdles and things in our way, stuff that happens, disasters, illnesses, whatever happens, but your faith has to keep you going. Just because you run into a wall that don't mean that you can't go through that wall, go over that wall, go under that wall, or around that wall. So you got to have faith enough that on the other side of that wall is your blessing.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Peace.